Joining me now, as he does each and every week, is Sky News Australia's media watchdog, columnist, Gerard Henderson, on the desk. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Well, Chris Kenny versus Linton Besser.
Yes.
It's been Chris Kenny versus Hugh Marks, Chris Kenny versus Justin Stevens. I like to think I'm involved a little bit, just on the...
I think you're there.
On the sideline, a little bit of a thorn in their sides. But we've got a grab of Linton Besser to react to from Media Watch, weighing into this whole editing scandal.
Yeah.
Journalist and academic Margaret Simons said vested interests
predictably are trying to make the BBC crisis a strike against the ABC. They should chill. The ABC is certainly not perfect, but it has clean hands in this case.
OK, so can I make a couple of points about Margaret?
Yes.
She has no credibility. She's a left-wing activist. And I was watching this, and I'm so glad you've picked up this point, because I'm thinking that's Linton. Of all the people that you can weigh into about, what relevance does she possibly have to weigh into who's right or wrong?
Well, Dr. Simons, if you don't mind.
Oh, doctor, what's the doctorate in?
I've no idea.
Who cares? Go on.
But I wouldn't go to have a heart attack, put it that way. She's also a false prophet because as I demonstrated in my Media Watchdog blog tomorrow, about 20 years ago, she predicted Rupert Murdoch's imminent death and gave medical reasons why this would come about.
Oh, what an awful thing to do.
But it didn't. Yeah, it was documented. So what happened here is that Linton Besser's got all sorts of people he can go to, but who he went to, Margaret Simons, as one of a left-wing journalist, is surely going to criticise Sky, and she's going to criticise Chris Kenny. I mean, that's what she does. She's at Melbourne University, at the journalist school there, and she is a left-wing academic, and she has a history of left-wing opinions, and she's... So, I mean, I don't mind if Margaret Simons is on Media Watch if she's balanced by someone else who's got a different view.
He really did put her up as kind of being... Well, let's go to the most ethical.
Yes.
She's not ethical. She's biased. And to me, that tells our story. That's who you go to, mate, to make your point that the ABC's not biased. You go to someone who's incredibly biased.
And it's not the first time, as I recall, he's done it this year. I think he went to on another occasion this year, like she's the god of the media who... But she's an activist journalist, really. Yeah. Who's now an academic.
Fine,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Which is fine, but there's also nothing interesting about her.
No, it's very predictable. Yeah. And her various books are very predictable.
She's also not in the industry. It's not like she's like this former news director that can weigh into the logistics of cutting. No. She's an activist academic at a university. It's such a weird decision.
Anyway, I mean, it's typical of Media Watch because, the whole program was devoted to Chris Kenny and Sky News and whatever, but, I mean, it all said the same thing. There's Linton Besser, working for the ABC for a long time, telling the audience of ABC viewers that the ABC is really great. Yeah. And,
How brave. He did all right on the trans issue, although he did it.
He did.
He kind of qualified it by saying it's not as bad as the Australian is making it
To be fair, so did Paul Barry. Before him.
That's very true.
But that's the only issue.
Because it's utterly disgraceful, and he watered down how disgraceful it is.
And that's the only issue in many years that the Media Watch presenter is really, a Media Watch presenter is taken on the ABC. It's very rare.
Yeah, and very, very gentle with kitty gloves in my humble
As Besser said.
Yeah, as Besser said, Now, Sarah Ferguson, she thinks that she's a fact checker. We've got a clip to play of her, where she's doing this thing where she doesn't let the person talk, and it's interruption after interruption. Susan Lee was the victim this week. Let's have a listen.
We'll have to leave it there, but I will come back for the sake of all of our viewers with a fact check on the nature of the breakdown of the energy bills. But thank you very much for coming in and arguing the case on the policy that you've just landed on. Thank you, Susan Lee.
Thank you.
She also does this thing where she aggressively points when she gets riled up, which I think is just kind of really sums up her interview style, a bit hostile.
Well, I'm in substantial disagreement with Andrew Bolt over this because he counted 35 interjections and I got 29. Yeah. But there were so many, it's very hard to separate them out.
What qualifies as one and what extends into a second.
And then there was the pointing. Now, the point is, go back, say, 15 years or so, If Andrew Bolt or you or anyone
Yeah.
at Sky had interviewed Prime Minister Julia Gillard and done an angry pointing, there'd be all sorts of complaints.
Yeah. But you wouldn't do it because it's a weird thing to do, to
you wouldn't
wag
do
your
it
finger
because
at
it's
someone.
rude. I mean, I noticed Donald Trump did it recently.
Yeah.
But then Sarah.
Which I don't like when Donald Trump.
I don't like that.
You know, he had that awful moment where he was calling women piggy and stuff.
Piggy.
I hate that stuff.
No, I mean, he wasn't well brought up, I think we can say.
Yeah.
But I mean, rightly criticised that. But Sarah Ferguson's doing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, not as aggressively as Trump, but she doesn't use the word piggy or anything, but it's still a very aggressive action when you're in the studio and you're going like this to someone.
Yeah.
And she had nothing much to say anyway. I mean, she just didn't like what the opposition leader was saying. That's what it was all about.
She doesn't like the way that people answer the question. She wants them. If she thinks that they're going around it, she'll get very riled up, which is her right. I think it's bad to watch. I think it's a hard watch. And I don't think the coalition should even bother going on her show because I think it's disproportionate how much she does it to people on the left, to people...
She's very soft with mainstream Labor and of course the Greens and the Teals. I mean,
because she agrees. Now, anyway, let's move on to Nine's James Massola, who's got some fantasies. Yes. And I love this point that you're making. We've got a grab to listen to, but basically he's got his numbers and percentages wrong of what it would take to make a republic. Let's have a listen.
I want to give a shout out to a poll that we ran in The Age and the SMH a day or so ago, looking at King Charles, Prince Andrew and the matter of...
Former Prince Andrew.
Former Prince Andrew. I'm still... and just how significant it was. So 43% of Australians now support a republic, only 28% opposed. That's like the biggest gap we've seen in I think, well, as long as we've been polling and Resolve. Yeah. So maybe Anthony Albanese was a bit hasty in getting rid of his Minister for the Republic.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good point.
How good is it that he came dressed up for national television as well?
Well, I've analysed this in my media watchdog tomorrow, but he came in dressed up as sort of a T-shirt representing the end of the world. It's Orwell's 1984, Huxley, and this dystopian film, Fahrenheit 451 and all that. And,
Rage Against the Machine, man.
It's all about. It's like he's off to a picnic for those gathered around for a general rehearsal for the end of the world, that sort of thing. Yeah. And that's how he dresses for insiders. So, but we've forgotten the content.
Well, he's basically gone. 43% of Australians support a republic.
Wow.
That means a republic is imminent.
Yeah. Well, as we know from the Voice, and I mean, the Voice started off with a yes in polls of 60% and ended up in 40%. There's another referendum where it started up at 70% in 1951 or 80% and ended up at just under 50%. So, I mean, the idea that at 43% at this time out, this indicates the Republic's around the corner is just completely ludicrous. Now, he was plugging his the Resolve polling system and all that, but I mean, it's just wish fulfillment. I mean, the serious political analysts would look at those figures and say we're a long, long way off for a republic. Now, I voted yes in the former republic, but I mean, you've got to be realistic. It's not going to happen anytime soon, whatever James Massola might say and whatever T-shirt he might wear.
Couldn't agree more. Now we've got Annabel Crabb's Civic Duty. I've seen a little bit of it. I think you're making the point it's a conservative-free zone. We've got some grabs to watch. Let's play the first.
But see, you sound like a campaigner now. I saw yesterday when you were delivering questions to President Trump, he says, "Oh, I love that question."
Mm-hmm. On the southern border, you've had record low numbers for the month of May. What do you attribute that success to?
I like you. Who are you with?
Turning Point USA.
Well, they're very good. Turning Point.
The journalist in me goes, "Oh my God, that's a disaster," because I don't want a politician ever to love a question that I ask them. So how does that work as a journalist?
Well, she's messed up there because Annabel Crabb says that she never wants a journalist to have a nice question. Let's see how she goes on that track record.
What has the disruption of reporting around politics in particular done to your ability to project and win political arguments?
It's made change harder.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
It's the same program.
It's the same program. And remarkably, Annabel Crabb, doing a program on Australian democracy, has ended up in the United States. I don't know why she's there, but and then all the people she has on.
Well,
as
it's a good holiday.
It's a good holiday. She's been to Tennessee. She's been to Washington DC. I don't know where she'll be next week. Probably California, I think. But then the various people on the program, commentators, I mean, journalists, commentators, these sort of people. This is the lot: Waleed Ali, Judith Brett, Abby Chatsfield, Richard Dennis of the Australia Institute, Dee Madigan, George Megalogenis, Jonathan Swan in the US, Cam Wilson from Crikey, and Claire Wright from the University of...
No, but that must be wrong, because Hugh Marks was just telling me the ABC is not biased. So there's no way that list is accurate.
And when they have the politicians on, they're all treated carefully, except Tony Abbott, who on the first segment got 3 seconds, and on the second segment, which ran last Monday, he was the only one who was opposed and tackled on the program. So I mean, it's completely biased.
And then it's Penny Wong, how brave are you?
How brave are you?
Essentially the question. Gerard Henderson, thank you so much for joining us as always.